All right, teammates, we are back once again. If this is your first time listening to the Move Swiftly podcast, welcome to the #1 show on innovative teamwork. You already know how I get down. We get this thing going every single day. New content comes out every single day. I do not mess around with that stuff. To my regular listeners, you already know how I get down, man. Mr. ABC. Always be connecting. All right. Again, got to thank my people at Podmatch for taking me. I used to be down a road where I was only doing solo episodes because I hated the logistics of doing podcasts. I hated finding guests. I hated doing all that administrative work. But Podmatch has solved that problem. And you guys are now seeing a regular form of guests on this podcast now. So with all that being said, I have another fantastic guest. And then to be honest with you, Mark, so much I want to ask you for selfish reasons. It's going to be a challenge for me to try to bring this to the audience because I'm a person that just started doing video maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, regularly putting out videos on YouTube every single day. And I'll be honest, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I'm just putting out the content, putting out the content, putting out the content. And you specialize in the concept of making sure you're not just putting out content. First of all, yeah, it's good to put out content, but you're not just putting it out to put it out. It's a clear targeted message and you help your clients work through that. So, with all that, I don't want to make the intro too long because I can, just welcome to the show. How you doing? And my first question to you is just, how did you actually get started in this work? Because it's so unique, yet it feels such a huge need. So the floor is yours. I'll give you an open slate to do your thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So first, thanks so much for having me. I
Mhm.
got started in video probably about 12 years ago. And I worked at a company and did everything you could imagine for marketing, advertising, and creative content. So I did photography, video, website, packaging,
Uh-huh.
print design, all these different things. And at that time, like 12 years ago, most of the people that were doing video were predominantly broadcast companies. So businesses would hire the local television station to kind of do a 30-second spot for them. And they'd
Mhm.
be like, if you want a commercial for your website, we can do that too. And typically, ad buys are $30 to $50,000 at the local level.
Mhm.
And it was very, very expensive. And typically the work was really, really bad because they're broadcasters. So they would kind of whip and pan the camera, not really tell a story. It's very kind of cheesy, local advertising focused. So I came in with my marketing knowledge and really my desire and craft to create really pretty looking videos and kind of
Mhm.
merge that together. And 12 years ago, that was like pretty revolutionary,
Yeah, that's what I was
And
about to say.
today it's
12 years
super,
ago.
super prevalent,
Yeah,
right?
I think I was just graduating college then, and Instagram wasn't even a thing. It was really
Yeah.
just Facebook. But now it's like, man, it's just insane what is going on. So go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Flash forward to today, I've built an amazing company as Austin's highest rated video production company, have an awesome creative team, and we work predominantly with businesses and brands to
Mhm.
really tell their story in a compelling way and leverage that video content for their marketing. So whether it's top of the funnel awareness content like social media ads, middle of
Mhm.
the funnel content, more of your business promo that tells a story about who you are, or bottom of the funnel kind of case study or testimonial style videos that
Mhm.
show that social proof of how you've been able to help customers in their journey. So we'll do a myriad of different things like that. But
Right.
one of the things that we do that's really uniquely different, and I would tell your audience to really think about, is understanding the target market, understanding your marketing, and crafting a message and a type of video that fits the mold of how you're marketing it, and then more importantly, how you're connecting with that user to get them further along that buyer's journey.
So walk us through how you're able to fix that issue because primarily that is the issue. You alluded to it in the company that you worked for before. When people have the money, they just throw the money at certain situations and they're hoping it sticks. Like they'll pay someone do all my Instagram stuff. They'll pay someone do all my YouTube stuff. They'll pay someone and not really know who their target audience is. How do you help your clients through that challenge? Because it is a challenge. And I love the point that you made. I was listening to you earlier before we started recording about how some people just they just get everything right from they don't just record, basically, is what you were
Yeah.
saying. They don't just record. They want to get the lighting right. They want to make sure the video is right. They make sure all these little things are right as opposed to just recording and getting it out to your people. So walk us through some of those challenges and how you help people through that.
Yeah, typically. So when we engage with the client, we usually like to start with the end in mind. Like, what are the goals? What are we trying to solve? What kind of problem do we have? And how can we use and leverage video to help solve that problem?
Hmm.
Sometimes video makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. So we really want to understand their goals and then really get a foundational understanding of how they're doing their marketing. Like, what are they doing for their traffic? What are they doing to create awareness? Are they doing pay-per-click ads? Are they doing social media marketing? Do they have an email campaign, or are they more of a B2B where it's relationship focused and they're working through longer sales cycles? So, whatever the case is, we'll kind of identify that and look for opportunities where and when it would make sense to use video, and then understanding the right format and style of video. So, let me give you a perfect example.
Yeah.
So, if you're like a company that gets a lot of their business through SEO and pay per click, so
Hmm.
you're targeting essentially the 3% of the market that actively realizes they have a problem and they're either actively searching for a solution for it, or they're kind of in research mode, right? So the top 3% know they have a problem or looking for a solution. And that's typically your top pay per click and social clicks. So you have your text ad that leads to a landing page, right? So
Hmm.
that strategy is going to be very specific based on the keyword terms that they're searching for with the type of video we want to show them. Okay. So that video usually is a longer form 2-minute video because they already have a high intent to purchase. So they'll
Right.
watch a slightly
Right.
longer form video around 2 minutes in length. And you'd
Right.
be surprised if you're a local company, even not even a local company, if you just do a Google search for your competitors,
Hmm.
you will be, it'll blow your mind how many people don't have videos. Like we're doing some work right now for home builders, and
Right.
we've got like the top 80, home builders in Austin that we're talking to. And it's amazing how many don't have videos.
Right.
And we're doing this other campaign with PR agencies, and like it's amazing how many don't have videos. Do that
Right.
with any industry. So having video in and of itself gives you a huge advantage because most competitors don't have it. So the idea is how are you getting traffic and how can you use and leverage video in the right way? So the social media strategy is going to be totally different because it's going to be shorter form content for awareness to stop them from scrolling, to drive them to a longer form piece of content where they're kind of, then that time they're more immersed in the brand.
So, like you said, you've been at this for 12 years, and I'd say maybe what, 3 or 4 years ago, like you said, videos became almost a requirement as opposed to just
Mhm.
something people do, it became a requirement. Why do you think it became such a requirement to have video in business? Because I agree with you and I see the direction you're going, but when did that transition happen? Because I could see a lot of business owners just not being shy, not wanting to be on camera and all that kind of stuff. So, when did that develop?
I think predominantly with the advent of like social media, TikTok, Instagram, really switching their algorithms to promote video, and people, basically the creator economy of people on YouTube creating content and just people consuming that way more than other forms of content like written blog stuff and things of that nature. And I think that's really where the biggest dramatic shift has come. But you'd
Right.
be surprised. There's a lot of creators that are creating more niche specific content like in the YouTube community, and then they'll permeate that through other social platforms. However, you'd be surprised how many actual businesses, whether they're a brick and mortar location, a SaaS company, or a service based company that
Mhm.
do not have video content, even the foundational stuff that you need, which is your promo video, which is who you are, what you do, what makes you different. Like I
Right.
said, they do a search for you and 10 other companies because they're
Mhm.
trying to make a decision on who to work with. And 9 out of the 10 of them don't have videos.
Yeah.
Huge advantage for you. So something foundational like that, or foundational like a video testimonial or series of testimonials,
Mhm.
most of them don't have that. And they're missing on a huge opportunity to engage their audience and leverage it both for a marketing tool and a sales enablement tool.
Yeah, and it's also important because this is one of the things I talked about in my first book is, because of the advent of social media and because of just so much spam and so much things coming in, people want to feel like they can talk to you. People want, they're
Yep.
starving for the human to human contact. And
Yep.
then COVID happened, where these Zoom calls became the norm. Virtual, seminars, virtual things became the norm. So again, like I want to reiterate, I want to re-emphasize what he's saying, because it is very important. This was something I had to adjust to myself just 3 years ago. If you looked me up online, you would see 0 YouTube videos. Now you're going to see close to 1,000 YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And it's because of the adjustments that you have to make. So, with all that being said, now my question to you is, how does one, as a person like me who was kind of fell into the YouTube world, how do we expand with that now? Because I actually, in August, I'm gonna be going to the Creator Fest. It's the first Creator Fest out here in Orlando. And one of the things I want to really learn is, look, I got into this because I'm a speaker, I'm an author, I'm, a public speaker and the whole thing. So I knew I needed to be on camera speaking. But now I have no idea how to leverage this stuff. Yes, my stuff is monetized. Yes, when you look it up, you're going to go through the ads and all that. But how do I leverage it? What are the steps that a person needs to take that already has their content out to leverage it? To that you say what?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's one of the biggest components is first you got to create the content in the first
You got
part.
to
Second
create it,
part
guys.
is really, how the heck do I use this stuff? How do I get seen? So
Right.
there's a couple different things that you can do from a strategic standpoint to build kind of an audience. So when
Mhm.
you're looking as more of a creator, like let's say you are marketing on the Meta platform, right? So there's one thing you can do where you're essentially just spending $5 a day and getting in front of a larger audience for
Mhm.
people that are either a lookalike audience based on an existing list you have or criteria that fit your ideal avatar, right? Do they like other people like Gary Vaynerchuk and Alex Ramosi? Those people are going to be my ideal client, right? So you want to identify that and you create different audiences based on who you want to show the content to. Then what you can do is based on that, you can do it based on the metric to measure is viewage. So if they're viewing it more than 5 seconds or 10 seconds, they're showing a signal to you that they're interested. And then you can have other criteria that's like, are they engaging? Are they liking, commenting, sharing, so on? Based on that, you can then build a bucket of those people that are engaged and then retarget them other content. The
Mhm.
idea is that as a content creator, you're providing value over time. And then if you have an offer, whether you're going to be at a speaking engagement, you're holding, an event and you want to invite them to it and it's a paid event, or you're
Right.
selling a digital course, whatever the case may be, you're creating value over time. And then once you've done that, then you can provide kind of that offer to them. Right. So it kind of goes back to Gary Vaynerchuk versus jab, 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 right hook. Right. So it's,
Yeah,
you want to
I
do
love
so
that.
much value
Yeah.
and then you provide something. So that's kind of the content strategy. And you could do very similar stuff on YouTube as well. YouTube's a little bit different animal because not only is it important for the content, but like what really makes a difference for YouTube is the thumbnail and the headline, right? So
Mhm.
like you have to have a really compelling thumbnail, you have to have a really compelling headline that makes people want to click on it.
Mhm.
And really the great content creators will do so many different tests of headlines and thumbnails to see what really is sticking. And that'll make a dramatic difference. And then in the first like 10 seconds, you have to deliver on that actual headline. You have to deliver on what you're going to tell them.
Mhm.
It's called consistent message match, right? So if there's a headline and an ad that you have on Facebook and then you send them to a landing page, that headline and image should be the same on the landing page. You're going to have a huge drop off in conversion when you don't have a consistent message match, whether it's on pay-per-click or
Mhm.
whether it's on Facebook ad or whether it's YouTube. What
Yeah.
they clicked on, they want confirmation that I've clicked on the right thing, I'm going to the right thing, I'm listening to the right thing, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I actually, that part I learned because I actually had to hire someone to do all my thumbnails. I had to hire
Yeah,
someone to do my thumbnails and do the SEO stuff, because
yeah,
this is work, guys. Again, I'm not
yeah,
here talking at you. I'm talking to you because again, I'm a creator that runs
yep,
into these same problems. This is work, and you do have to hire these positions out. So you got to make sure, like you said, your audience is identified. I think the one thing that's in control of the creator is making sure your audience is identified. If you've identified your audience and you've crafted your high ticket offer, then things start to open up for you. Then opportunities start to grow for you. But you got to identify your audience. So with
mhm.
that, have you encountered people that you've worked with that don't know their audience and they just, hey, Mark, fix all my problems. I don't, fix everything. Because I can see, hey, fix everything. I have this stuff and just fix all the problems. What do you do how do you navigate situations like that? Because I'm sure you've encountered that.
Yeah, I mean, every now and then we'll get someone that really doesn't know or they're just starting off. So we'll sometimes work with solopreneurs or kind of companies that are sub 1 million and we'll kind of help navigate them and understanding that criteria. It's really understanding what your niche is, who you serve, and what do you do that's uniquely different. A
Right.
lot of other businesses and brands that we'll work with that, are like large home builders or tech companies, they've done extensive studies on this, like
Mm.
very detailed, like marketing research, and they have a specific persona or avatar that they
Mhm.
know, like, this is the person we want. It's Jill. She's 32 years old. She's got two
Yes.
kids. She lives in the suburbs. It's like
Right.
very detailed.
Target. I
And I'm
know
like, oh,
Target has like a really, really
yes. They
caring.
always they always try to say the people that really do it well, like have it dialed in person, to a
Yes.
person, because that way every question they do, every marketing piece they do, they'd say, would Jill like this? Would Jill want this? What would Jill think? And you kind of think about like a person almost like it was one of your friends, and like there's no way Jill would go for this. And that's kind of the way that you do it when you're really getting into that type of marketing.
Listen to me. And I mean, for the regular listeners, they're probably laughing because I hired a coach. He was on the show. His name is Dre. Shout out to Dre Baldwin. But I hired a coach and he and I had a conversation during a match. It was myself and multiple people. We had a mastermind where we talked about, he said the same exact thing you said. And then I re-emphasized it on the YouTube channel. So they've heard it multiple times. So I don't know how many more people have to say it, but and I have an episode on the show that says, get your prospect down to a specific person. All right. I get, and the person I have is a guy named Coach John Vassos, who coached me when I was a kid, the late John Vassos, but he was the business owner that was also spending his time as a youth football coach. And that's my specific avatar. That's exactly who it is I'm looking to serve every day. And that kind of leads me to another question that I have for you specifically is, when you get people who become influencers, you kind of reference solopreneurs as well. But if you get an influencer and a big company brand that wants to do a deal with an influencer, how do you make that like how are you able to create content to make that relationship happen? Because there's a lot of actual solopreneurs out there that are making some good money just by being a brand partner with a Target or with a Gatorade or with a Powerade, whatever the company is. And it's all because of quality video. Powerade has the resources. I have the lifestyle. Let's just go do it. So how do you navigate that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we'll definitely collaborate with businesses that want to do an influencer campaign, and we'll
That's
do it more on the content side. So a lot of times when you're hiring an influencer as a brand, you're hiring the influencer based on two metrics. One, typically they'll create the content for you. So
Mhm.
you have that kind of production side done. And then two, you have their audience, right? That has built-in trust. And that's really what they're hiring them for based on their media kit. Now,
Mhm.
what will come in certain situations is where the influencer doesn't necessarily want to create the content, but they just want to do the promotional aspect, right? So then
Mhm.
we'll provide all the really good assets or a finished video that illustrates what the product is and how it works. And that's how we can kind of bridge the gap between those two different individuals that are trying to collaborate with each other.
Right, and then it becomes a win-win. So he said
Mhm.
two words there, listeners. All right, it was the metrics, and the audience. All
Mhm.
right, metrics and all, not vanity metrics. And I mean, some ways
Yeah.
social media good, but metrics meaning receipts, actual receipts, and then the audience. The audience leads to those metrics that actually matter. The metrics that matter are the receipts. People paying money for a certain product. So just because, and what I'm getting at is just because you have 1,000 people liking your stuff every post does not necessarily mean you have the audience that this smart business person is going to look for. They're not going to just say, okay, you have a certain amount of followers, a certain amount of likes. That's vanity metrics. They want to know how many sales you can create, how many things, how many
Mhm.
products you can actually sell. And that's what leads to more campaigns being done, more win-win deals. And that's an important concept to grasp as well. So
Yeah, absolutely. So like as if you're an influencer, the biggest, most important thing is the level of engagement, right? Because
yeah.
the vanity is sometimes, how many likes or how many subscribers you get, because you could actually buy that stuff. But it
Yes,
is
you
vanity,
can, yes.
it all depends on how engaged your audience is. Are people commenting? Do you have enough goodwill with them
Mhm.
where they want to purchase something? Like
Yeah.
I know there's one entrepreneur that we've worked with. He's a multi-million-dollar entrepreneur,
Mhm.
and he started off basically creating content about yoga mats, about yoga, all that other stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
did it for like 9 months, gave everything away for free, tons of value, created a huge audience. They really, really trusted him. And then boom, he came out with a yoga mat on month 10, and then it sold like crazy. And then he had basically a 7-figure exit from that company like a year and a half after that.
Wow.
So it goes back to what I said earlier about Gary Vaynerchuk saying jab, 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 right hook, right? So it's really provide so much value, like a 9-to-1 ratio of like 9 pieces of like valuable stuff before you ask for anything as a content creator. So like on the creator economy, there's a lot of different ways that you can make money. One of which is through like sponsorships, your own product content,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously sometimes you can get enough views, make a little bit of passive income that way, digital training courses. There's a lot of different ways if you're a content creator, how you can leverage that audience and provide the most value to them.
Okay, yeah. So what would you say is the like the net like the person your ideal client, just so we get it on the record. What would be the person that is listening to and wants to work with you? Who would you like to work with? What are the criteria? What are the details? What are the things that you just say look no to? To that you say what? Yeah, feel free to plug away.
Yeah, yeah. Typically, companies that we work with are kind of larger, more established brands or businesses. They're typically doing about $3 million or plus. We really specialize in like home builders and tech companies, but we've
Mhm.
worked with actually a lot of solopreneurs where they've never done video before. They really need someone to support them, and then we can kind of help create kind of low cost content for them, whether it's a brand story or other stuff. We
Gotcha.
also work with not only people locally in Austin, but we have a campaign and program where we do remote testimonials. So it's about a third of the cost
Hmm.
to do a traditional on-site live action testimonial. And we film people remotely, do their branding, create animation, graphics, take care of the scheduling, interviewing, and editing. And it's a very cost-effective way, both for small and large businesses, to get a lot of great case story content
Yeah.
that gives them the social proof they need to help both on the top of the funnel marketing and also sales enablement.
Excellent, excellent. Now, if someone is listening in that fits that criteria, what's the best way to get in touch with you? How can they reach out if they want to work with you further? Feel free to plug away.
Yeah, absolutely. So like mosaicmediafilms.com is a
Mhm.
great way to reach out to us, either contacting us and schedule an appointment, or if you're thinking about video and don't know where to start, just go to our website, mosaicmediafilms.com/resources. And there's some great downloadable guides, quizzes, video content to kind of educate you on things that you can think about on how you can leverage video to be more effective with your marketing and sales.
I got you. I got you. Now, Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've gained a ton. I cannot wait to go back and listen to this recording because so many things are I still consider myself fairly new in the whole creator video space. So many things I'll be taking notes on. And like I said, I'm going to go be at this creator live event later on this summer. So there's a lot of things that I'm looking forward to when it comes to this video. But the way I close out all my shows, all right, is I want you to use your imagination for a little bit. You're working at that job, you're seeing just broadcasting being done really lazily. People are just going through the motions, whatever it is. You're in that position. That young man has just clicked into the Zoom room. He's here. Just give him some words of encouragement and we'll officially close you out.
I would say the best words of encouragement to anyone that's kind of like struggling is just like consistency beats talent every day. I think you just have to chip away and focus every single day on what are you going to do? What are the actions that you can take to really help move the needle? Because ultimately, your life is a combination of the small little micro decisions that you make every single day, and
Mm,
that compounds over time.
mm. That's hey, you can officially drop the mic with that, man. That's life is a small little steps, small little decisions every single day that you have to make in your own mind, and it's going on in your own head. So you gotta make those small decisions. All right. Fellow
Absolutely.
teammates, continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.